All right, so what are some risks associated with stem cell therapy? You are injecting cells into your body, which are very good at producing new cells, and they can become all different kinds. How could that be a problem? Well, one thing is, what is it called when cells replicate out of control? That is called cancer. Okay, that's why cancer is sometimes a tumor because cells have just replicated out of control and they kind of replicated the wrong way. They made the wrong thing, and now they made this harmful tumor instead of like the body parts that you need. When cells replicate out of control and they make the wrong thing, that can result in all different kinds of cancer. So if you just go injecting cells in your body that are really good at replicating and really good at becoming all different things, there's a chance that instead of becoming what you want them to become, they could become cancer. Okay, and then right along those lines is that this video shows that cells in your body can move. So while Peyton Manning had stem cells injected in his neck, hoping that they would just signal healing and maybe like being around the other neck muscles would that would signal them to become neck cells. That's great, and that might work. But this video shows that they can also move. So maybe you put them in here, but they go to somewhere else and they do something they're not supposed to be doing. They make the wrong kind of cells in the wrong kind of body. So again, you can see this was a time-lapse video I took at RPI of cells, and they definitely move. They don't just stay put, they can move. So you could have a problem of injecting them one place and then moving to somewhere you don't want. And like we said, that could develop out of control, incorrect cells, and that is cancer. Here's an example. There were these clinics that promised to regain eyesight, and this is like not good scientists. These were kind of people that were being reckless, but these clinics were promising better eyesight by just taking stem cells like out of your butt, like the fat tissue in your butt. There are stem cells in fat cells, and they just injected them to their eyes. And they said, hey, you just pop some cells in, they get signaled by all the eye cells around them to become eye cells, and then it fixes your eyes. Well, they tried this on some women. Some women went in and said, sure, I'll do that. That sounds great. And it actually made the women go completely blind. So before, where they had they were losing their vision or had poor vision, now they were completely blind. So totally backfire if it's not done right, or just unexpected things happen. More risks. So there can be unforeseen consequences. We think we're fixing something and we make something else worse, or we cause some bad cancer. We could make creepy designer babies. We could be like, okay, I'd like my baby to have blonde hair and brown eyes and nice tan skin and be really fast and be extremely smart and be super muscular. So that's not really fair, especially if rich people can access it more than poor people. We could use it to do harm. Like maybe we could create like super soldiers or super killer bees or something and use it to hurt people. And then unequal access, like I said, if some people can afford to have perfect designer babies and some people can't, you can end up with this like worse than racism, like genism, as shown in the movie Gattaca. If you can watch it, it's really, really good. It's confusing though, so you're gonna have to like pay attention. Normally we'd watch it in class and I would explain it all to you. It's really fun. Also ethical consideration to be done. So a lot of people that donated their stem cells, they did it like in the 60s, and they might not even be alive anymore to give consent. So they might have donated their stem cells just to be used for like research. But now those stem cells, they've been like regenerated over years and years and years. We're still using some like original stem cell lines that were donated in the 60s. And now maybe that person's cells are being used to graft onto a person who needs new skin because they're a burn victim. And you might say, oh, that's great. Like I don't mind my cells being used on a burn victim. But maybe some people feel like in that way, they're kind of like alive. They're walking now, their cells are walking around another person, especially people with certain religious beliefs might be like, oh my God, I don't want that. Or maybe it's like put into like the brain of a person. Maybe your cells that you donated just for research are now being put into someone's brain. And now you feel like you're that person's kind of alive inside the other person's brain. So maybe that would bother people. And if they're not alive to give consent to that, like now you're using cells for something that the person did not intend you to use them for. Could we create medicine that makes like a ton of money for a company? Maybe that's not what you donated your cells for. The 3-parent baby, maybe people think that's really messed up. Again, if you were putting your brain cells into another person, you might feel like, okay, well, I don't mind you experimenting in the lab, but I don't want my cells like walking and talking inside someone else's brain. So just ethical things to consider. If you're interested in politics, there is a timeline of stem cell research, and you can see with different governments, like Democrats tend to be more in favor of it. So during Democratic presidencies, we had more stem cell research, and then Republicans maybe didn't like it as much because of some of them came from abortion. So then it went down. So you can see how politics has actually affected like how much stem cell research has been done, because either they banned certain things or they gave more money for certain things. So just to conclude, what did we learn here? So what is a stem cell? It's an undifferentiated cell that's fate has not been determined yet. It's not become anything yet. It's like a blank cell. How can we use stem cells for good? Well, we could program them to be like anything we want them to be and like cure every disease ever. And then what are the risks of using stem cells irresponsibly? Could cause this is my Maui hook, could cause all different types of cancer because it's cells becoming different types of cells, and maybe like they're really good at reproducing out of control. Could cause tumors, could cause creepy designer babies, could cause inequity, like some people are getting this amazing new stem cell healthcare and some people are not. All right, so lots of potential, but lots more work to do and lots of ethical things to consider.